Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of the Franchise Empire newsletter. You can see that I'm not in the office right now. We're actually in Mexico here for a business mastermind. Super exciting. But in this newsletter, we're going to talk about a couple of really incredible franchise opportunities. One is a resale that is a mega resale. This is like a life changing existing business and franchise resale where you buy something like this, and because of the type of volume that it produces, it's life changing. And then we're going to dive into a specific franchise opportunity. It's not a resale, just a franchise opportunity that has a great item 19 in their FTD, which basically just shows the amount of money that franchisees are making in the franchise. And although it's not a huge franchise, it yeah, the numbers look appealing in the FTD. It's an interesting opportunity. So in a minute, I'm going to kick it over to Kevin, and Kevin's going to take it from here, and he's going to dive into those opportunities and walk you through it. I just wanted to say hello. So we're here in Mexico right now again for this mastermind event. So I'm part of a business group that has accountability coaching. I've been doing it for 18 months. I work with this coach, and the organization does an annual planning retreat where you literally reflect on everything in your business over the last year, review your numbers and what you accomplished, and just a really reflective exercise. And then plan your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal for the year ahead. And then not just envision it, but actually go in and map it out into, okay, how do you chunk it down? What needs to be done? And actually scheduling things. So it's super exciting. I'm here doing that, and it's just an incredible experience. And so the message that I just wanted to share before I kick it over to Kevin to take over the rest of this is just where we are right now in this experience, and being in front of the ocean here in Mexico, and being at the Four Seasons, and this just incredible experience would not have been possible without number one, starting a business and being an entrepreneur, which this is a tax write-off, by the way. So like epic trip, we added on some days before the event and after. And so it's an awesome tax write-off, something that's completely unique to being an entrepreneur, right? Like you can't just write off trips and have vacations when you're not an entrepreneur. Um, so that's incredible. I totally lost my train, my train of thought. I'm thinking about tax write-offs. It got me super excited. But just spending this time out here is just incredible to be able to plan. And so what I was saying was that this wouldn't have been possible without being an entrepreneur and without having bought a franchise. And it was a terrifying decision that we made 8 years ago, taking $300,000 of equity out of our home. It could have gone terrible. I didn't know a lot that I know now, and maybe I would have made different decisions. And one of the things that I love is the idea of buying resale and buying an existing business that's already profitable. But I know that some people are letting themselves get held up by that because you're kind of limited to the inventory that's out there unless you go start hitting up people and saying, hey, I'm willing to buy your business, or you want to sell things that are not on the market. But don't wait. Don't wait for a resale opportunity to open up, because a lot of the times the best resales actually go to franchisees who are already in the system, and they never even hit the public market. So that's something that most people don't think about, is that the resales get bought up. This happened to us recently. About a month ago, we were talking to a franchisee about buying their existing business, high performing business. They owned it for over 10 years. And we started to get the financials, numbers look good. We're going to go meet with the owners. And in between looking at the numbers and the scheduled meeting to go meet with the owners, they said, you know what, we actually just struck a deal with our neighboring franchisee. They're going to buy it. So sorry. So we didn't even have a chance to make an offer on it. So it's just something to think about. And in the newsletter, and again, if you we do these newsletters live, but make sure to, number one, go subscribe to the Franchise Empire Show YouTube channel. The link will be down below, because at some point we will only do these newsletters, these videos on the Franchise Empire Show YouTube channel. Number two, if you want to sign up and be on our email list to get this newsletter that goes out Sunday mornings and be able to get it and review it, go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter, and then you can get this every Sunday morning when we send it out. I think we send it out at 8 or 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to go over. I'm going to go ahead and kick this over to Kevin. He's going to take it from here. He's going to walk you through the newsletter. He's going to walk you through these exciting franchise opportunities. And yeah, I just want you to just imagine as you're going through this, like what could starting, buying a business, buying a franchise, what could that do for you? What could that do for you and your family? Imagine what lifestyle that it could create. How could life be different? Years ago, I had this dream and this vision in my head of being able to create this amazing life, what I call my dream life, which is why that's up in my YouTube studio. It says Dream Life Mastery. I had this vision of being able to make the money I wanted to make, being able to travel, being able to have amazing experiences, afford those things, have flexibility of time, and just feel proud of myself looking in the mirror. And for me, that vision was in being an entrepreneur. So I just want you to think about as you're going through this stuff, like, how could your life change? What could you do for your family? How could you set your family up for success, generational wealth, fully fund your kids' college, maybe buy your dream car or dream house. But more importantly, again, when you look in the mirror, feel proud of yourself, of what you've done and what you've accomplished. So as you're going through that, I want you to think about it. And yeah, I'm excited for you and excited to keep sharing great opportunities and great businesses, and just encourage you to go after following your dreams. On to Kevin.
All right. Hey, everybody. Again, like Tarek said, my name's Kevin. I'll be taking you through the rest of the newsletter here today. I'm going to start sharing my screen here. It should be working. Yep, I think it's working now. So super excited to chat with you all today. Hopefully we get some people viewing in. But just wanted to first kind of piggyback on what Tarek was saying. I mean, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm not in Mexico, but I can kind of reiterate the points that he was making about business ownership. It's done a ton for me and my family, but everybody we work with, it's the same. It's creating that financial freedom. For me, it's the freedom of like my time and be able to do whatever I want with my time, and being able to spend time with my family and friends when I want to. My wife owns a franchise now, and I own my business, and we're going to spend all of January and February in Florida, away from the winter months in Omaha where we live, and take our kids there. And so it's just created a lot of flexibility for us that we didn't have before working in a corporate environment. And then the other thing is I mean, Tarek, more than probably a lot of people that I've worked with over the years, invests a lot back into himself, which is really cool to see. Spending time and money to go, it's I'm saying spending time and money to go to Cancun and, and on the beach and do business planning. But I'm sure it is a lot of work and it is a commitment. But he commits a lot to growing in himself. And I feel like when I became a business owner, I started doing that as well. And being in Omaha, I'm a big Warren Buffett guy. So he's the Oracle of Omaha. And probably the simplest and purest advice he's given people over the years is just invest in yourself first and foremost, over like investing in stocks or other companies. So just continue to invest in yourself. And I think when you are a business owner, you do that a lot more than you typically would. And so I've really loved that about business ownership. And so, yeah, I just wanted to kind of add on there. But today we'll go through the newsletter quickly. If anybody has any questions, feel free to chime in, or you can set up a call with our team afterwards to chat through anything you have questions about. But today we'll talk through one specific resale, like Tarek mentioned. One franchise of the week. We kind of highlight a franchise every week that we've worked with and have seen good things. One client case study. So we'll kind of talk a little bit about that case study. We have a ton of different case studies, and you can see those on our YouTube channel. And then also the latest episode of the Franchise Empire Show. So let's dive into it here. So the featured resale of the week is from Closet Factory. Super interesting brand. So they do home custom built-in home organization systems for pretty much any area of the house. So think garages, home offices, man caves, pantries. I mean, pretty much anything you can think of. They've been around since 1985. So any business that's been around that many years is, that's very hard to do, but very well established. They have 74 franchise locations throughout the country. And you might ask, like, well, why don't they have more? It's because they have huge territories. So they typically give out an entire metropolitan area to one franchise owner, which I actually really like. So they're more about finding the right owners in their network and not growing at a super fast rate and giving out smaller territories. So really interesting brand. So the asking price of this particular resale is in Cleveland, Ohio, so the Cleveland metro area. Asking price is 1.625 million. So significant asking price. What that lends us to believe is it's a very profitable business. They have an established showroom and warehouse in Cleveland. It's part of a big industry, $13 billion home organization industry. You wouldn't think it'd be that much, but it's a huge industry. And in the FDD, I was reading through this. I was kind of shocked to read this, but the top quartile of franchise owners have an AUV, which is average unit volume of revenue, of 13.2 million. So the top 25% are averaging 13.2 million in revenue, which is just insane. You really don't see that for any business, let alone a franchise. So really high potential in this business. This particular one has, I'm not sure when they started, we could get that information, but like Tarek was saying, good resales tend to sell quickly. I'm surprised this one hit the market. I imagine it's already received offers, if not close to being under contract. So this is one, like many resales, if they hit the market and they're good, they're going to go quickly. So but this system is such a proven system. They have a 96% retention rate among their owners, and their average owner has been in business for 17 years. That's crazy. So they're obviously going through their first term of 10 years and then renewing, which shows that they're happy with the business, they're successful. So really interesting opportunity here. You would need a pretty high net worth and liquidity. Just based on the asking price here, you would need around 160,000 in cash to get an SBA loan for this resale. So high potential growth here for this opportunity. If you're interested, you can always click here and give us your name and information. We can schedule a call for you to learn more about this particular resale. If you're interested in Closet Factory overall and you're not in the Cleveland area, happy to chat with you about that as well. Really cool opportunity. We could check to see availability in your market. So that's the resale for this week. Let's go on to our client case study. So it's actually Tarek, no relation to Tarek Johnson, spelled differently, pronounced the same. But Tarek was a client of ours specifically looking for a resale. So if that kind of resonates with you and you feel like you're a person that wants to look into a resale opportunity specifically, maybe go and watch this YouTube video and see how we helped him find his particular resale opportunity. The resale, Tarek and I have talked about this before, the resale process is quite a bit different than buying a franchise new. And we have a lot of tools in our system that help with doing that. So we'd be happy to chat about like what is required overall from a resale standpoint. Like even look at your financials and say, hey, here's probably the range of like a resale you should stay within based on your current financial situation. Happy to help and chat through any of that if you have questions. But definitely check out Tarek's, the other Tarek's client success story here. And if you click on this, there's a bunch of other YouTube videos there with testimonials you can watch. So the franchise of the week that we wanted to highlight today is called Poolworks. So Poolworks is, you can imagine, it's a pool company. They were actually founded in 1992 in Australia. They grew really quickly in Australia, went to other European countries, I believe, and then opened their first US location in 2015 in Arizona. They have a headquarters in Dallas, Texas. They now have 62 locations in the US. So what's interesting about Poolworks here, you can see here the total investment range is between 182 and 430,000. And the reason it's such a big range is you can start with just having like a van and doing commercial cleaning services for owners, residential owners, commercial pools, or you can start with also a retail location where you actually sell chemicals, you sell pool parts, all the different stuff, basically nets, anything you can think of that people need to maintain their pool. And I was actually at a conference this last week, and I spoke with the development director for this brand and got some more in-depth information. But he said it's really the owners that start with the retail location are very successful because they have people come in, and you can think about it like they buy all the chemicals, they buy all the stuff, and they start to say like, I'm tired of maintaining my own pool, it's a hassle, it's time consuming. And then you can add on, you can say, well, hey, we can take care of that for you. We have a team of techs that manage pools in your area, and you can give them a quote on what it would take to do that and kind of take it over. So really interesting model, both the retail and the service space, which I think is pretty cool because you have both those revenue streams. So yeah, Pool Works. If you look at the financial performance, it is a newer franchise, but they do disclose 20 franchisees, 9 of which had one open marketing area. I'd have to read the fine print on what that means, but essentially they're disclosing a handful of their locations. And the numbers are pretty strong for these locations. So you can see here, so on average, the average gross revenue per franchisee of all the owners is around 2.1 million. If you just look at like per location here, so there's 9 franchisees that are averaging 1.39 million. There's 6 that are averaging 1.5, and as you go on, it looks like the highest performer is doing 7.5 million, which is a lot. So yeah, again, another scalable opportunity, something you may have never thought of, like, hey, why would I own a full retail company or maintenance company? But it is something where people need to maintain their pools. You kind of can't let it go. I don't own a pool, but um, you know, I know and my in-laws have a pool that we love to use and benefit from that, but they pay a lot of money to maintain it. It's kind of a hassle. There's things that can break. So there is a high demand for this service. It's scalable. There's multiple revenue streams with both the retail and the service base. One of the ways people also scale is they can acquire competition. So they can acquire like pool routes. They can acquire other companies in the area once you get up and running. So kind of an interesting pool model PoolWorks is. If you were interested in learning more about PoolWorks or other service-based, businesses similar to this, we'd be happy to chat. You can click on this button. We can even run a quick check and contact the franchise to see if your market is a good fit, if it's a viable market, and then also if it's available in your market. So yeah, please let us know. Click here and put in your information, and we'd be happy to follow up with you on that. And then lastly here, this is an episode that Tarek did recently. It's the biggest mistakes people make when buying a franchise. So there's a lot of mistakes people make. This is a really interesting episode. One thing that I've found is just off the top of my head is like sometimes people going through the process don't financially do enough financial due diligence. What I mean by that is they don't validate financial assumptions with franchise owners during those validation calls. So really what you should be doing is having like a projected pro forma of assumptions, what your revenue might be year 1, 3, 5, what your expenses are going to be, how you're going to grow, all that kind of stuff. And you should run that by existing owners when you're doing validation calls. You're probably not going to be able to go, spend hours and hours with them, but testing your high level assumptions on the financials is super, super important because, when it comes down to it, you have to make sure your financial assumptions are correct, just from even like a borrowing perspective, like how much do I really need to borrow to get this business up and running? How much working capital do I need? So yeah, I've seen people do that where they do validation calls and they say, yeah, like everyone's really happy with their business and they're making money, but like, what does making money mean? It might mean something different to each person. So really testing those financial assumptions. But Tark does a great job of going through some mistakes on this episode. You can click here and watch on YouTube and learn a little bit more from him. But that's it. I don't know if we have any questions that came in or not. I don't see any, but I think we can probably call it. But yeah, thank you for listening in. And again, if you have any questions for us, feel free to follow up, and we're happy to chat anytime. Thank you very much.